Caught all those late nights, all those chicken wings, all those thighs, both chicken wings and both women's thighs. They all caught up to him now. Here we are in this moment right now. And I'm enjoying it, bro. I am enjoying this thoroughly. The man, he disrespected basketball, bro. He deserves this. Like he deserves at least this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Benchmark, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They reppin' jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. You playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tuning now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. Bowser really.
Benchmark Podcast. What's up, bro?
Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Benchmark ENT. We are back. We are here. We are definitely going to talk about everything that's been happening so far in the playoffs. We got to talk about next episode. NFL released the schedule. That's a whole episode in itself. We're going to say that for y'all for sure. We're going to talk about it definitely because the schedule looked crazy. But Greg predicted it. Chris agreed with it. Philadelphia lost. Harden didn't show up. We're going to talk about it. But before we get into it, we got to do the introductions as usual. Greg, Mr. Hot Takes, the Big Your Mother, sends Mayor. How you living tonight?
I'm living good, bro. I predicted the future. You see, I got more hits than Drake. I told people that James Harden was going to take a dump on himself in the playoffs, to put it nicely. And that's exactly what he did. Now that's where Philly goes from here. So, I'm not going to start talking too early, but I'm feeling good, bro. I'm feeling real good. Got a tournament for my young guys this weekend. So, by the way, I got to talk to you off air about that because we're not that far away. It's in Branchburg. I don't know if that's that far, but it might be far from you. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
You'll figure that out if you want to pull up. But yeah, bro, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
CJ Moneybags, how you living?
I'm doing well, man. Watching some playoff basketball right now. NFL schedules came out today. Since he got the third hardest schedule, so I'm a little stressed, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. We're gonna find a way.
That trick. The league about to whip that trick on the Bengals.
Stop it.
Yo, I felt like you these last couple of days, CJ Moneybags. I was over there in the Hyatt Centric in Nashville on the 20th floor. Nice views. I was like, yo, this must be how CJ Moneybags look on a regular. Good Lord.
Y'all be playing with me. This is Greg. Greg has the money. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. So when we look at Philadelphia season, obviously the season is a failure. I'm gonna start off by this, and Greg, you can have the floor. Chris, you can have the floor and give your input on it. The winner of the trade, we've been talking about it. Who won the trade? Philly, Brooklyn. The winner of the trade is Miami. That's how I view it. This wouldn't even been in a position to have Ben Simmons in Brooklyn, James Harden in Philly, if they did the right thing of keeping Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler murdered and demolished them this whole series. He wins. He even mentions that he stated it again. He wanted to stay in Philly. He wanted to be with Embiid. He just won. He shared how much he loves and respects Embiid. Philly chose Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. And look where they got him now. The real winner of the trade is Jimmy Butler and Miami Heat. If they did what they were supposed to do, we wouldn't be talking about no Harden right now. Jimmy Butler would be there, and they probably would have run a ring by now at this point if Jimmy Butler stayed in Philly. That's how I view it. That's my viewpoint on it. Greg, you got the floor. I just had to put that out there because Philly messed this up from Jump Street. Jimmy Butler should never.
That's a great point. You can have a greater discussion about how the Philadelphia 76ers have been mismanaged for years, even while they've been good. been mismanaged, right? Starting back with the process with Sam Hinkie and tanking every single year, so blatantly and obviously, to the point where they changed the lottery system because of them, because they just kept trying to get South the first pick overall, right? Over and over and over again. To everything that's led up to this moment, for them selling out now to get James Harden, which they've obviously been planning for years. And when they planned it 4 or 5 years ago, they hired Daryl Morey and get Elton Brand, them dudes up out the paint. They thought they were gonna get the James Harden that was in Houston, right? The strip club legendary James Harden, the guy who had his jerseys up in the clubs and all that stuff, but still is showing up to games. The dude who told little baby, I can't miss this. This is gonna be an experience. I practice at 6 a.m., but I'm gonna be in the studio with you because this is more important. That dude, like they thought they were gonna get that guy who was still playing at an extremely high level, and it caught up to him. It caught all those late nights, all those chicken wings, all those thighs, both chicken wings and both women's thighs. They all caught up to him now. Here we are in this moment right now, and I'm enjoying it, bro. I am enjoying this thoroughly. The man, he disrespected basketball, bro. He deserves this. Like he deserves at least this moment, bro. To go into the second half of that game, everyone's talking crazy about you. The whole media talking crazy about you, and you go out there and that's what you do. And in 22 minutes in the second half to not score a single point, bro. A single point. That's crazy, bro. I just like God got a bigger plan, bro. God got a bigger plan, because I was wondering, like, those nights in Brooklyn when he came to Brooklyn out of shape, when me and Chris drove down an hour in traffic to go watch them play the Wizards, and my man couldn't get a bucket on Kyle Kuzma or Rui Hachimura, and I saw him struggling like that, and I'm like, yo, what's going on right now? And meanwhile, he's dogging. Everyone's like, oh, he's dogging. He doesn't want to be in Brooklyn. He's just trying to throw it so he can get to Philly. Nah, bro, he also was just struggling. Like, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. It never looked good at any point. So I'm not surprised by this outcome. I've been shouting from the mountaintops on this podcast and to everybody I know that this is going to happen. And Philly fans are unforgiving, man. I would not be surprised if next year, the home opener, they boom. They start throwing all types of various cheesesteaks, all types of provolone cheeses, different cheeses at dude, batteries. They like to eat, like to eat their own feces over there. They start throwing various feces. You don't know what they're gonna get on in Philly. They're nasty. Those fans are nasty out there, bro. But one thing we can count on, one thing with James Harden, that man will indoctrinate himself with all the strip clubs in Philadelphia. And once again, he'll have some women's thighs wrapped around him. Instead of being in the gym, he'll be knee deep in some thighs, some real thighs, and some chicken thighs. That's what you're gonna be knee deep in. Not the gym, though. Not the gym. And what's Philly gonna do now? They're gonna pay him? Are they gonna pay him? Because what do you do? If he opts into his contract at $47 million this year, why would anyone want to pay him that kind of money after what he just displayed? How can you trust him to pay him $47 million? That's a huge cap hit. You're screwed either way. You can pay him long term and pay him $60 million when he's 39, or you can let him opt into his deal and pay him $47 million and not be much better off for it. It isn't like Tobias Harris is some crazy trade piece. You're not getting a ton back for him. You know what I mean? What do? Philly's in a really hard position. The only thing they can hope is that Tyrese Maxey comes back next year and he is just a full-blown superstar. He's taking the next jump, which could happen, by the way. He's that good. But I hope it doesn't. Not because of Tyrese. I love Tyrese. Hate Philly, though. This is good for Philly. This is good for James Harden. This is good for basketball. It's a great night. It's exactly what's supposed to happen. The basketball gods, any god you believe in, whatever it is, they couldn't reward James Harden for his behavior on the way out of Brooklyn. He disrespected basketball. He deserves
Kyrie.
Right.
He said, I'm with the Jewish community.
I'm just trying to be inclusive. I'm trying to be inclusive, bro. I'm trying to
the Christian community. I'm with the Muslim community. Any God he believe in, I'm with it.
Hey, yo,
bro, I'm trying to include the communities.
So in this situation too, right? So Greg mentioned it, and we're gonna get into that conversation of, do you pay Harden? Should you pay Kyrie? Before we even touch on that, because Harden already said in the press conference after the game, he's coming back to Philly, so he's probably opting into that regardless. Mm-hmm. Do you bring back Doc Rivers, though? Doc Rivers, the coach for this team.
He's not the problem.
He's not the problem, but he's also proven that he can't get you there either.
You can't judge him when you have a fat point guard who doesn't want to play basketball at a high level. That's not the most important thing to him. You thought you were training for a top 75 guy. Instead, you got a guy who was Was he even a top player in the
Did
series?
you think you were trading for a top 75 guy, or did you know
They did. They did. Morey bet the crib on James Harden. Did he not? Morey bet the crib on James Harden. He traded away valuable depth. They could have used Andre Drummond when Embiid got hurt. They traded him. They could have used Seth Curry because they were down a shooter. They traded him and 2 first-round picks.
But when they made that trade, they knew what they were getting with James Harden based on his prior performance earlier this year.
I don't know. The reports were that James Harden was purposefully not playing hard in Brooklyn, was not taking it seriously to get them to trade him. That was the report. So the idea when you trade for him and you give it the crib for that dude is, oh, when I get him, he's going to be the guy we remember him being. That they thought he was going to be some variation of Houston James Harden.
Yeah.
And instead he was just a shell of himself. Or I shouldn't even say that. He was just a bloated version of himself. Dude came in 3 fat suits.
I think when you talk about Doc Rivers, it's a tough situation for him. And I think for his best interest, he should try to get out.
Facts.
He should try to get out. How this team is set up, you have Harden on that team. Unless Harden somehow, by miracle, he gets baptized and touched, and he comes back in tip-top shape, you're not going anywhere with Harden, and you definitely ain't going anywhere with Daryl Morey in the front office. And they talking about, again, Philadelphia in general is just jacked up because it's rumors that they're going to bring in Mike D'Antoni. They really don't want to win then. You bring in Mike D'Antoni, forget it. Just forget it. Y'all have no desire to win. Y'all want to sell tickets. You want to be entertaining, be top 5 in offensive efficiency, getting buckets, but it's not going to produce anything. And long before you know it, 3-4 years from now, Embiid is going to be out too. Philly better turn this whole thing around, or you about to lose. You lost Jimmy Butler already. You're going to lose Embiid too. All for James Harden, the bearded one.
It couldn't be a better marriage. The best marriage in sports is James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers fan base. And they both deserve each other. This is the perfect ending. And that's why I kept telling people in the moment, they were like, oh, the Nets lost a trade. Oh, I was like, relax. Just relax. You're going to see what James Harden going to be on in a minute. Just give me a minute. Just wait. And what do you know? You know, look, I'll take my chance with Ben Simmons over that guy. At least I know Ben coming in shape. At least I know that. And I know that there's people who want to trade for Ben Simmons too. I know Ben has a market. Like I heard a report today that the Hawks are looking at him. I know I could flip him in a hurry if things get crazy. I know that. Who wants fat James Harden? Who wants him? Please. The line was there's only one guy in line, and that was Daryl Morey. Okay? Like, give me a break. This is the best thing. And also, I think we should also take a moment to just this is the kind of investigative reporting that people get only at the Bench Mob podcast. I take my craft very seriously. So I was looking into some things, and the RICO that was brought up against Young Thug and Gunna may very well blow back on my guy James Harden. They be calling him 4PF Harden at the beginning of the season. We don't know what he was on. Yo, the RICO extends to people that was just in the room. So Baby was talking about popping somebody out here in these streets. That boy Harden, he gonna be in prison dealing with some other type of thighs too in prison. So we gotta be real careful about how this thing ends up.
You don't stop. You over here talking nonsense now.
I'm just keeping it a buck with you, bro.
He not going to know.
He's going to 4PF Harden, bro.
4PF Harden.
I swear.
I don't know about the Harden aspect, but that RICO stuff is not looking good for Gunna or Thugger, bro. Because you know how that RICO go. It's like 28 people on the list. One of them jokers is going to flip. Somebody is going to flip. Everybody not about to be loyal. Somebody about to open their mouth. Oh, what? I only going to have to do 2 years instead of 25? Man, I saw Young Thug. He got the gun hitting under his bed. Somebody speaking up. ASAP.
For sure. Casanova already did it. Casanova already flipped. They had Casanova on RICO charges. He flipped to get less time in prison. It's going to happen. These guys always do it. These guys you praise about being all hard and all that stuff, talking their music, talking whatever, bro. Yo, when it comes down to when it hits the fan, these guys will sell out anyone.
I'm
to get up in the jam.
I'm not doing time for nobody else.
I don't know. Also, I'm a proponent of you selling people out. Of you selling if you're a Young Thug, and only because I just need to hear the music. So Young Thug, feel free to sell people out. Like that, Young Thug is a musical genius. I'm so upset that this is the situation he found himself in. It had to be him of all people. Why couldn't this be someone like Jack Harlow after the horrible music he put out? I wouldn't mind if he was in RICO.
You're horrible, bro.
Chris,
He'll be wishing RICO cases on people.
Hey, I saw this post, and we're gonna get back on topic. Why there ain't been no RICO charge on the KKK yet?
Facts.
I decline. So Chris,
I digress.
Facts.
Chris, we talked about it before the show. If you a GM, right, who are you going to give the extension to? Harden or the Aries talking Kyrie?
I know this is gonna come back to bite me in the tail at some point, but I'm gonna give it to Kyrie just based on pure talent. Kyrie is unlike a talent we've ever seen before. He can get a bucket from anywhere. He can do so many things with the basketball. He can create for other people. And, you can say what you want about his personality, what he believes in, how he acts. But at the end of the day, like he's going to be a Hall of Fame player. If he continues to play basketball games, that's what it's going to come down to. With Kyrie, I think as long as you get him back on track this year, right? You have a talk with him in the offseason about the future going forward and what you expect out of him. As long as he's on board and as long as the agreement is mutual and he's playing basketball games, there's no reason why him and KD shouldn't win a championship. Their team is just too strong, especially if Ben Simmons comes back. With Harden, like you say, you don't know what you're going to get. You really don't know what you're going to get out of him because we've seen the best of Harden, but it seems like we haven't seen that in a while, right? We haven't seen him at his, like Greg said, as a top 75 player in the NBA. And after the performance that he just put on in the playoffs, when people are talking all this, smack about you, when all these reporters are talking about your game and how it looks like you don't care out there, you're not giving maximum effort, and then you come out and drop 11 points. And like Greg said, and the last, what'd you say, in the last 22 minutes didn't have a single point. Like, come on, man. Like, Kyrie not doing that. Kyrie's going to play hard till the last minute. If he's in the game, he's going to play. Like, that's what it comes down to. It's just getting him to play and getting him to mentally focus on basketball and have basketball be his number one priority. Basketball needs to be his number one priority if you're going to give him that long-term deal. But at the end of the day, just based on talent alone, I'm giving that deal to Kyrie.
Greg, I know you, based off of literally the last 10 minutes, you're not paying Harden, right? So with Kyrie, you Sean Marks, what type of contract you putting on the table with Kyrie? You having this discussion in the summer, y'all bringing him back. But what type of contract you giving Kyrie?
I'm giving them a contract that's incentive laden to protect the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets have to protect themselves. They get back to a place where the culture is strong because that's what got us. That's what got the Nets to where they are. It's having a strong culture. So to answer your question directly, I'm putting a stipulation in there that if you don't play 70 games, that this is a large chunk of money he's missing out on. Like you're missing out on some bonuses. Like you got to make it a bonus laden contract where there's a lot of like just extra money to be had based on the amount of games you play if you're Kyrie Irving. And you could put an injury clause in there. So if he gets injured, you can't control that, whatever. But you're not missing a game because it's your sister's birthday and you want to go to the club in West Orange and hang out with her and your cousins and Kevin them. Nah, F that. You got to show up and play basketball. That's what you got to go. That's your job. Play basketball for the Brooklyn Nets and help us win a championship. So you got to make sure that you give him a contract where it gives the Nets outs. You got to give yourself an out if you're the Nets because letting Kyrie Irving do whatever he wanted won us one playoff series in 2 years. With two of the best players in the NBA. We've won one playoff series in 2 years and then James Harden was here too. So even worse, right? Like, Kyrie's really spoiled this thing in a lot of ways. And obviously James Harden played a role in it too. We know that. I'm not to keep going over the fat man. But the reality is that Kyrie's been a large part of this issue here too. And y'all heard the press conference already. You heard snippets. Sean Marks sounds like a man who's sick and tired of being made a fool out of. Like Kyrie's made a fool out of that man publicly. Sean Marks is a great GM. People nationally may not know this. What Sean Marks did with this franchise, picking it up. There was a time where I could have played for the Brooklyn Nets on a 10-day contract. Like that's what we're talking about. This team was not good. Okay, they were not good. So we had a point guard named Isaiah Gutierrez or something. I don't even know who that is. I don't even know what he's doing. Like, like he looks like he could be on like High School Musical or something like that. It made no sense how he was on the team. But that's where we were at one point. So for him to take that roster to where we are now, that guy knows what he's doing. And he's a guy who's demanded a lot of respect around the NBA. And when you have Kyrie making a fool out of you, especially in we talked about this, the last press conference of the year when you're out there and you're talking about you're Kyrie, you're talking about oh yeah, well, me, Sean, and Joe are going to work together to make the Nets great again, blah, blah, blah. What do you mean me, Sean, and Joe? There's only one player in the NBA that has the power and cachet to control a franchise. His name's LeBron James. You are not LeBron. These issues that we.
That was the Aries talking.
That was the Aries talking. It was the Aries talking. Exactly. I mean, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. So, like, I think Sean Marks heard those remarks. He was not happy about it at all, and he chose to make a really hard line stance when he addressed the fans and said, "Hey, this is not Kyrie's show. And Kyrie, you're expendable. If you're not gonna play basketball, you're expendable." And that goes for anybody. But Kyrie, if you're expendable, if you're not gonna come here and play basketball, you have to. That's your job. Like that's what you're paid to do. You're not paid to tell people about how to love your brothers and sisters. You're not paid to be the next version of Nelson Mandela or Malcolm X. You're not paid to do any of that. You're not the next freedom fighter. You're paid to play basketball. That's why people care about. This is what you bring to the world. This is your gift. This is it, okay? You go out there and play ball. Like everything else, you leave that for after the game's over. You want to be Dr. Sebi after the fact? Go ahead, be Dr. Sebi. But for now, you got to play basketball. So that's the bottom line.
Give him that's cool. Like you said, that's cool if he wants to do all those other things. That's cool if he wants to be a freedom fighter. But at the end of the day, that's not what the Nets are paying you to do. And if you want to collect these millions, then you got to play basketball. Like, I just don't want that message to get misconstrued where you're saying he can't be doing all the other stuff on the side. But at the end of the day,
I'm talking basketball first.
Facts.
Basketball first. I got other interests, but if I don't do my job, I can't let me go. What's the difference? Like it's the same logic, right? My job, and for anybody, right? Why does Kyrie get a special exception? He doesn't. He does not. Like you're not showing up to work, like you will get fired, bro. Like you will get moved. Like you won't be here, and it won't be as much fun wherever you go next. Promise you that.
And that's what kills me when he comes back with the media and he starts talking about like, oh, they're out to make me a villain, and they keep talking about me and keep having my name and brothers and sisters' names in their mouth. It's like, bro, you're giving us so many reasons to talk about you. Like, you're not making it any easier on yourself.
You also talking about brothers and sisters like they talking about anybody else besides him. What brothers and sisters they talking about, Kyrie? Like, what is Kyrie ever even talking about? Like, he doesn't even make any sense. Like, what is he? Like, seriously, I don't think Kyrie even knows he's talking. I think Kyrie has one thought, starts talking, and he just like looks up and he just like, what the hell was I even saying?
That was his Instagram live today. It was one thing after the next.
It's a joke, bro. I'm really worried about my guy. But at the end of the day, first and foremost, go out there and play basketball. The rest will take care of itself. Go out there and play with and don't leave KD hanging. That's supposed to be your guy. Like how are you doing your guy right now? It's nuts, for real. But hey, man, like,
hey, that's what you really want to do, and you want to focus and ignore, the cockroaches and cockroaches and all that. He says it is live today, we all are freedom fighters. If that's where your real heart is at, that's perfectly fine. But then you need to then tell the Nets, no, replace my spot. If that's what you really want to be as your focus, that's perfectly fine. Nobody's knocking that, at least not on this show. Do your thing, man. Be great. But the thing is, you are still employed to play ball. And one of his mentors that he idolizes, Kobe, said it best. Yo, keep the main thing, and then everything else, you can do whatever you want. You kill on the court, nobody says nothing. If the Nets are in the playoffs right now, they want to chip. Kyrie could say the media can suck his left toe. Nobody would care. You did your job. I did what I was paid to do. I brought a championship. I got us a ring. You do that.
It's true.
Everything else goes away. Everything else goes.
It can all be so easy. That being said, obviously you're paying Kyrie before you're playing James Harden. Because I'll bank on the fact that Kyrie's talent. Kyrie's still playing at a top 75 player all time level, and I know that Kyrie's not going to come in fat because he only eats one blade of grass per day. So I know for a fact that Kyrie's gonna come in ready to play basketball, as opposed to James Harden, who cannot stay away from Onyx and Magic City. And man, he go there for the wings and he go there for the women. Go there for all types.
They got
of
Raising
stuff, all
Cane's
types
down
of-
there.
If he ever ran Raising Cane's, he'd never come out. That's yo. If he ever ran into that, he'd never if James Harden discovers Raising Cane's, that man will be sumo wrestling by the next year. That man will be in Japan getting real crazy. Over here going crazy.
Kyrie's old team. The Celtics now are down 3-2. They had a chance. They up 6 with like a minute and some change left. They lose the lead. Drew Holiday looked more like the defensive player of the year, actually, than Marcus Smart. Came up huge, a block, a steal. Giannis did his thing. Giannis looking like we talked about it, but even if they lose, Giannis is the best player in the world. The way he's playing, the way he's literally willing the team to win. And no matter what, Giannis is more like Kobe than most people think in regards to his heart and the will. Giannis might be 11 for 27, but at least he's going to get him up. I.e. Harden doesn't even shoot in the, 2 attempts in the whole second half. I'd rather 11 for 27 with 15 boards, 8 assists, 3 blocks, 40 points. Keep shooting that thing. You our best player. Ain't no Chris Middleton there. I appreciate Giannis with this series, right? Can Boston actually force it to Game 7, or is this series over? Like, they choked. They needed to win that game. Is this series over?
Boston can force Game 7 for sure. You have a player as talented as Tatum on your team, you always have a chance. What you say?
In Milwaukee?
In Milwaukee, yeah, I think they can force a Game 7 in Milwaukee. I do think so. I think that they play because defense travels. They play good enough defense. I mean, honestly, I think the series is over. I think I chose the Bucks in 6. I chose the Bucks in 6. I did say that, by the way. You see, this is why people come listen to the podcast because stuff like this. Got more hits than Drake, like I said. But seriously, they can't force a Game 7, though. They're capable of doing it. Now, will they do it? It's the real question. I think that Giannis is a special kind of player. I think Giannis is going to go out there and try to and give everything he has to close them out. And you get a contribution from Drew, and you're going to get it at home. You get all your role players going to be humming at home. They're better. The Grayson Allens of the world, the Connaughtons, those guys are going to come to play and hit their shots. And so it's going to be a much harder task to beat them on the road if you're the Celtics. But the Celtics have a chance. Defense does travel, and they play good defense. They don't have an answer for Giannis. Giannis is bullying them boys. Giannis is just bullying them like that. Like, you can try to do like KD stuff with him. No, when Giannis catch the ball and he's 10, 15 feet away from the basket, he's getting to the basket. You're not stopping him.
He's not even second guessing it though. Like, as soon as he gets the ball, he's going. And it feels like too, like when you watch Giannis play, like I still get the sense that he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. Like, he feels like he feels like he doesn't belong in the league still. Right. You know, this feels like Giannis, you know, he has the confidence from when he told the reporters back in the day, like, I'm gonna win an MVP, and they laughed at him.
Giannis feel like he's still that hungry boy in Greece, because in his mind, he still is that hungry boy in Greece. You remember not only having to share one shoe with Thanasis and rotate the shoe around. He remembers all that. That's how Giannis approaches life. Giannis, for real, Giannis played the way he looked. You ever seen his hair? You don't get no cuts. He played the way he looked. That's the Giannis plays hard. It's grimy. He's going to do all the dirty work. He's a superstar that a small city like Milwaukee can love, because, and any city for that matter, anywhere, they can appreciate a guy who works that hard, because this means everything to him, and he would risk everything to play this game. So you have no choice but to respect it. That guy's the best player in the world, and I have not said that on the podcast yet. I don't think, but he's the best player in the world. He's better than KD. It's really sad. I don't think there was ever a time where KD was the best player in the world, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I think Giannis is the best player in the world. I think it's clear. It's clear. You can't really knock it. The guy's resume is crazy. He's gonna go and probably win another championship, because if he gets winner of this series is winning a championship. That's the way it's gonna all shake out, in my opinion. I don't think that the Suns, from what we're seeing right now, we'll talk about it, are gonna win a championship. The Warriors, they got treated like a trick down in Memphis, so they're not gonna win a championship. I think the winner of this series, and I think it's going to be the Milwaukee. Thank God, by the way. They're you see, we should add that to Giannis's resume. Giannis is like Marcus Garvey. He's like Malcolm X. He's like He's like Muhammad Ali. He's a freedom fighter. He's doing the Lord's work. He's doing Black Jesus's work by bouncing the Boston Celtics. That's what we're talking about. Giannis is also a freedom fighter. Giannis is one of my favorite players of all time. I will always be indebted to him for this moment, getting Boston up out the paint.
I got two options for titles now. James Harden has fell in love with chicken wings and women's thighs, and Giannis is doing Black Jesus' work. You are on an all-time roll this morning. You are putting out good content.
somewhere right now, Black Jesus is smiling down at Giannis right now as Giannis takes care of Boston and airs him out right here. And he's gonna finish the deal tomorrow night. I'm excited.
Boston is done.
It's over.
I see Milwaukee winning. I agree with you when you said it. Milwaukee's winning Game 6. They were going to win in 6. Going back to Boston, that wouldn't be best. And Milwaukee, as you just mentioned, out of all the teams left, Milwaukee actually has championship DNA and has been playing with championship DNA. If they really are the championships that we believe they're going to be this year, especially you're going to probably have Chris Middleton back next round, they need to win Game 6. Win Game 6, give them some time to rest, to recoup. Y'all going to have to see Miami. Like, make sure y'all get rested. Y'all don't want another game. I think Giannis, in a closeout game like that, we hear all the greats talk about it. Typically in a closeout game, the team that has the best player ends up winning. And in this series, Giannis had to remind them, I'm the best player in the world. Should have been in the MVP conversation over and how he's playing. Should have been over Embiid. Should have been over Jokic. Giannis should have been MVP again with how he's playing. Obviously, they don't count the playoffs, but still.
Giannis is going to learn the LeBron lesson here soon, too, that the best player in the world often doesn't get the MVP, unfortunately. Right? It's trendy. It's real trendy. Nikola Jokic is every nerd's favorite basketball player because he doesn't look like he should be good, but when you look at the numbers and the WAR and the VORP and the VARP and all the crap they look at, whatever the hell it is, he looks amazing on paper. And he's great. Jokic is great and deserved it. I'm just saying, he'll learn. They'll learn the LeBron lesson here real soon. LeBron should have 8 MVPs. 8. He has 4. It's crazy.
Whoop that trick. You mentioned, Greg, you think they in trouble. You think Golden State is in trouble. Chris mentioned he wasn't really a fan of Draymond getting down and dancing. I'll touch on both of those, and then y'all got the floor. I do not think Golden State is in trouble. Golden State will win Game 6. They know better. They know not. If they go back to Memphis, that trick is going to be whooping a whole lot. And we're going to see a whole lot of T. Morant. We're going to see a whole lot of Usher on the TV going nowhere real fast, climaxing. And then Draymond dancing. I loved it. Just on the aspect of, hey, and he mentioned this in the press conference. We got our butts kicked, but I'm not going to be the type of person that's a front runner that talk trash when we winning and don't keep that same energy when we losing. More and more, even with this podcast, I love Draymond. Draymond. They get beat by 50 plus points, 77 points and a half. Draymond keeping the same energy. We gonna whoop that trick together. Whoop that trick. I appreciate it. I don't like when, if you gonna talk, don't then be sitting on the bench soaking and all quiet. Nah, Steph, come on. You said you was gonna whoop that trick Game 5. Get up and dance too. You and Aisha, whoop that trick. Get up and dance. The floor is yours.
Listen, I get it. I get where you're coming from, and I love Draymond too. I love his personality. I love how he puts his heart out there, and he's someone that truly wears his heart on his sleeve, good or bad, right? So I can appreciate that, and I can rock with him. But at the end of the day, too, like, you down by 50, bro. Like, I get it. I understand not sulking, but do you really need to be out there dancing when you down by 50? Like, come on, man. Like, because then I have to question your pride. Like, all right, like, are they really trying? Like, because my man's over here dancing like he at the club. Like, we mistaken him for James Harden now? Like, come on, bro. Like, at the end of the day, I don't know. I just think it's a bad taste in my mouth when you're dancing down by 50. I get not sulking, but again, that should be a time where you're taking it a little bit more seriously. But I also understand where you're coming from.
I think also he was doing that psychologically though for some of the other players. Like, all right, him, Steph, and Clay, they've been there. I'm doing this to really show y'all like I'm straight. Like I don't care. Like we good. Like we're good. Especially for players like, for example, like Poole.
Right. Like don't relax, take a deep breath. Everything's cool. Like we'll be all right.
Yeah, because them last 2-3 games, it hasn't been a pool party at all. It's been that pool done dried up.
That pool got drained. Summer's over.
Yo, you gotta have fun with it, bro. I think if I was in an arena with the 30,000 and Whoop That Trick came on, I don't know how I wouldn't start dancing. Seriously, not and that'd be me. If at an AAU tournament I'm down by 50 and Whoop That Trick come on, I'm gonna start whooping that trick with him. I'm just letting y'all like that's just that.
You know what I'm curious about though? What was Steve Kerr's reaction?
Well, Steve Kerr ain't even there. Steve Kerr had got sick. It's Mike Brown.
Right. That's right, Mike Brown. Yeah, that's right.
Yo, so if you're the Kings, do you fire Mike Brown before he even gets his first day? How you coach a team lose by 50, bro? Like, how does that even happen under your watch?
Bro, the thing that it is, if it was any other team, they probably like, all right, we got to reconsider. But the Kings, they about to do that next year anyway.
Facts.
Right.
Mike Brown's still their best hope.
Exactly. They like, yo, Mike gonna fit in. We probably gonna start off 1-12. He gonna fit right in.
That's the hire they made. That's so funny. They didn't hire Kenny Atkinson. They hired Mike Brown. Great job. Okay. I usually advocate for the black man, by the way, but in this case, come on, guys.
Yo, quick though. Kenny Atkinson. So you hold him in some high esteem. Kenny Atkinson, good fit for the Lakers because they mentioned him to the Lakers.
He's a great development. He's a great developmental coach. He's a great coach with the clipboard. I don't know the developmental coaches though. I don't know that they're fit for what the Lakers necessarily need. You're not asking to be unless you're asking someone to develop Russell Westbrook because he plays like a 5-year-old with no eyes, then maybe you could bring some guy in to develop him. But at the end of the day, I think that's not the right fit. I think that you need to bring a guy who's established and has a voice. I think the guy I like the most they talked about was the guy Darvin Ham from the Bucks. I don't know much about a lot about him, but from what I've read, he's a kind of like strong figure in the locker room that would work. That he can challenge those guys and even challenge Bron. Challenging Bron at this point is hard. I mean, come on, it's Bron, but he's the kind of guy who's not scared to do it. And I think that matters. That really matters in the room. He commands the respect of those guys. They're going to play hard for him every night. And that's what you really need. That's what you really need with that team more than anything else. More so than a guy who's like Kenny Atkinson's a great coach for a team that's that's up and coming. He's a great coach for a team like the Knicks that just needs somebody to make something out of nothing. There's a whole lot of nothing in New York. Like they need someone like him. But in LA, I'm not sure that's necessarily what you're looking for. But I'll say this too because I don't want this to get left out. Steph stands, y'all not safe, man. Okay. That couldn't be my guy. That couldn't be my GOAT. That couldn't be my favorite player because my favorite players are going to come out and talk about, we're going to whoop that trick, get beat by 50, and I don't hear peep. It's why I be telling you I get a pass because he's light-skinned and people want to listen to me. It's definitely because Steph is light-skinned, bro, on everything I love. Okay, because Bron did that, oh my God. If KD did that, y'all even give KD a hard time. All right, I don't want to hear it, bro. Steph gets a pass for everything. It is so annoying. That is so embarrassing. You got to be like 50 and you play like trash, bro. Trash. Like you weren't even a part of this. Also, what the hell is wrong with Klay Thompson? What is wrong with him? He's coming up the injury, but he looks horrible. He's forcing up shots. They're not playing Warriors basketball. The ball's not flying around. They're not getting a guy into the paint and making the right pass. They're not playing good ball right now. And Klay is forcing. He's forcing. He's trying to show people he's back to being the guy that he may never be the guy. He had 2 crazy ass injuries back to back. That's what we're talking about. He may never be that guy again. He has to accept it. All right. So I have a lot of concern about the Warriors. They're not getting the championship, which I love, by the way. And I'm not the biggest Warriors guy in the world. So I'm not upset about that. But I'm still looking forward to this Warriors Suns series. I think we'll get it. Well, we'll talk about that.
Not tonight, but we're gonna get it.
Well, maybe a game 7. Well, let's talk about it.
I think before we even we about to get into that, right? I think Klay for the Warriors should be going to the bench, let Jordan Poole start because Klay you were asking a tall task for Clay to be somewhat half of what Clay was when he barely played a majority of the season, and now you got to play in the playoffs. You asking for a lot.
Right.
You asking for a lot from Clay. Like, I think Clay will be back to what we know of Clay next season. Full season, full off season, full recovery. He'll be back to himself. Start Jordan Poole. Let Clay come off the bench. If Steph came off the bench, Clay, I don't want to hear nothing. If your splash brother came off the bench, you could splash it behind on the bench too till you figure this out. Start Jordan Poole. And what I would do, the thing that, not even what I would do, people are forgetting, right? Golden State ain't got no bigs. Kevin Looney is undersized big. James Wiseman is out. They don't have JaVale McGee anymore. Memphis is literally bullying them in that paint. Steven Adams hasn't played in 7 months and came in and looked like the reigning defensive player of the year. The man bullied all of them. They have no bid. So they need to win. If they don't win game 6, which I think we all agree, is curtains. You going back to Memphis, you're going to probably see Terrence Howard there. You're going to see Taraji P. Henson pull up. Us are going to be sitting next to his doppelganger, and they're going to be whooping that trip from the second quarter on. They need to win in game. They need to win and go in the state. Because if not, Draymond better call us up. We need to be on his podcast. We're going to have to talk about it. We're going to have to talk about it. Draymond, we're going to have to talk about it. Now,
it'd be a lot of fun to be
Warriors or the Grizzlies might face Suns, we all were thinking, but I know Dallas isn't a place where they sing Whoop That Trick. They probably sing some type of country music, but they getting smacked 72-94. And I was going to come on the show and talk about how I don't like how Luka plays a lot of one-on-one basketball. I can't say jack tonight because that one-on-one basketball is working. And it's looking like the Phoenix team that we thought was the best team all year are folding yet again. And I'm just saying, and Greg, Chris, you got a floor on who you think is going to actually win that series because it's going to game 7? If I'm LeBron, being the petty king, I might just post Cameron Payne talking trash about how, the Lakers are in the playoffs. Might post something like that, after game 7 is done and they lose. I might throw out there like, hey, Cam, I got a seat on the plane with me to Cancun. You can come dance with me, Bronny, Savannah, shoot, my mom coming, Gloria. We all gonna be in Cuba. You could come with us. Because guess what? You ain't want to ring. I still got rings. I'm just throwing that out there because Campaign has been talking crazy all year.
Yeah.
I think it would be very poetic if they still don't even get back to the finals. That's all I'm going to say on that. I still don't believe in Dallas, though, even if they win the series. I don't. The way they play is not championship basketball.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll say this. I have real concerns about this series for a couple of reasons if it gets to 7. And what I said this before the series started, I said, this is not going to be a cakewalk for Phoenix. And in fact, I was scared to pick this series. I think I might have picked Phoenix anyways because, it was a conventional thing to do. Phoenix is the best team in the NBA. But I think what you're looking at here, what we're seeing with Phoenix is a classic case of you guys got way too confident, way too early. Y'all have accomplished nothing as a team. You got your role players talking trash about the Lakers. You've got Devin Booker just uncharacteristically being really confrontational out there. Like he's a quiet killer. That guy. He's great. He's a quiet killer. I don't really know him to be the kind of guy trying to steal the ball from Luka. He's hitting the floor, talking to fans, talking about that's some Luka treatment. Like trying to get just talking trash about Luka. I don't really know you to be that guy, bro. Like I don't know, but whatever. There's that too. And then on top of it, you're dealing with Luka. Luka's the best player in the series. Luka is the best player in the series. And in game 7, what's the rule? The game 7 rule in the NBA is the team with the best player usually wins game 7. That's usually the way it works. The Phoenix's worst case scenario was them getting to a game 7, even though they're at home. It doesn't matter. If Luka gets a chance to go to game 7, he's going to come for blood. Like, that's who he is. And he just needs a couple guys to come to the party. And I think he may have that. I mean, these guys are going on a nice little roll. Obviously, role players play better at home. So the Reggie Bullocks will make some shots. They'll throw a rock in the ocean at home. And I think that on a road game in game 7, I think they would get the best from those guys too. I really do. I think it's a heightened sense of just the urgency, right? It's game 7, go win or go home. And I think that those guys will play better. But they have the best player in the series, and in the game 7, I think Luka can get you up. Luka can get you up out of there. It's crazy. And this is a legacy type of series for Luka. Luka wins this series. It makes you look at him in a different light. He's obviously a superstar already. And I already said he's the best player in this series. He's better than Devin Booker. He's better than Chris Paul. He's better than all the guys they got on that team. He is. He's that good. He's that good. Top 75 type. Like, he's going to be in that conversation a couple of years. That's how good he is. Now, the one-on-one thing you mentioned, to your point, he reminds me of Houston Harden in a lot of ways in the way he plays here. Heavy ISO, heavy usage. But I tell people all the time, the difference between him and Houston Harden is that Luka's a far better passer. Luka throws guys open. Like, when Luka passes you the ball, 9 times out of 10, you are wide open. Wide open. Luka did all the work. He manipulated the defense. He got you open. He knew exactly how to get you the ball. And sometimes the pass doesn't even look possible. He gets it to you. That's the key difference between Luka and me and James Harden. I think Luka's a better player than James Harden ever has been because of that alone. That's my opinion. That might be a hot take. That might be a lukewarm take. That might be a room temperature take. It's a take nonetheless. But that's just what I think. But I'll stop taking the ear out of this thing. Chris, what do you think? What do you think? How do you think the sense? I think if they get to get this is going to go game 7, I think the Mavs are going to win. I'm picking the Mavs. I'll probably be wrong, but I'm picking the Mavs.
I think it's going to be just hard for Phoenix already, just due to the fact that CP3's been struggling, right? He hasn't looked himself, and Devin Booker has been coming out hot, but he slowly fizzles out as the game goes on. And that's what happened in the second quarter. You know, he had a quick 8 points. He was getting to the paint, getting his floater off. It was going in, and then he started shooting the 3-ball. That wasn't happening. Kept shooting outside jumpers, just wasn't getting it to go. And I think that throws his game off when he does that. He gets away from what was working for him. And obviously he's been getting to the rack now and getting to the free throw line, but again, now it's a little too late. You're down 20 points. It's hard to come back when you're playing like that. Obviously, DeAndre Ayton's playing good right now, 21 points, but you brought up some valid points, man. You know, Luka's not one to play with. He can, like you said, throw guys open. He can score on you any type of way. He's a big body. He's a mismatch. It's going to be tough for Phoenix, regardless if it gets to a game 7, because then, again, you're banking on your players that are supposed to be carrying you through the series, CP3 and Devin Booker playing well when they haven't been playing well. So that's hard for them to just turn it on in game 7 and expect to win.
I'll say this. You gave the great comparisons. That's exactly what I was seeing. The problem I have with Luka, which I think hopefully he'll actually be different in Harden in this regard. Luka does not do well without the rock. Luka is that teammate that you want to punch in their throat. You're great, but Luka literally, Jalen Brunson might get the rebound, and there's been times when you see Luka looking at Jalen Brunson talking about,
yeah,
bruh,
that's real.
Chill out. You're not playing with the Rugrats. You playing with some ballers. It'd be different if you was playing with some booty jokers. I think for Luka to take that next level, as soon as he learns how to score and how to be effective without the rock, scoring off the ball, and being able to let the Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie try to get busy, it only makes it easier for you anyway. And this is the year to do it. Like, so we saw my man Giannis last year got better in between the finals and adjusted. If Luka wants to get to the finals, he needs to adjust, because after the season, Jalen Brunson is out. So next year, you might have to go back to just one-on-one, 97% usage rate. You don't got nobody really to pass to except shooters, no creators. This is the best time. If Luka wants to try to get to the finals, this is the best time to try to do that, to use the team that they have, because a lot of those pieces probably will not be there next season. Specifically talking about Jalen Brunson. And then if they get to the finals, that's great. Giannis going to spank that behind, and Giannis gonna get another ring. I agree with Greg 100%. How some of these other teams is playing, this is barring the Bucks handle business game 6 and they don't let it go to game 7. The Bucks won't win the championship again this year. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And Giannis, the whole season, pretty much, he's been consistent. He puts in the work. Giannis stays ready. And on the Bitch Mob ENT, we stay ready too. We stay ready so we don't got to get ready. Bitch Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.